You are Paimon, one of the 8 kings of hell. We have looked to the northwest and called you in. We've corrected your first female body and give you now this healthy male host. We reject the Trinity and pray devoutly to you, great Paimon. Give us your knowledge of all secret things. Bring us honor, wealth, and good familiars. Bind all men to our will, as we have bound ourselves for now and ever to yours. Hail, Paimon! Hail, Paimon!
Welcome to Agartha's Arcanum. I am Adam Solomonus. In today's video, we will be examining the now infamous spirit known as King Paimon. Why is he infamous? Well, it's because that movie Hereditary has inspired many would-be Facebook wizards and sorcerers to evoke him willy-nilly. I have seen this happen firsthand, and it's quite amusing. In this video, we will be examining the source material that Paimon has appeared in throughout history. Starting off, King Paimon, also known as Paimon, he appears in the Book of Abramelin, alongside Oriens, Ariton, and Amaimon. They appear to be demons of the quarters, essentially. You have to request help from these spirits in order to have spirits be sent to you. The Book of Abramelin is quite complex. Let's move on to some of the other source material. Moving on to the book Necromancy in the Medici Library, a book that seems to have been written in the late 14th to early 15th century. In my opinion, it really looks as if it's the Lesser Key of Solomon in its extreme infancy. I can give examples of that in other videos at other points in time. Let's see what it says about Paimon in this book. But now, King Paimon is to be dealt with, and it is to be partly of the order known that great Paimon himself is more obedient of powers to the will of Lucifer than that of the other kings. The order of Lucifer is not to be reckoned. God willed the depths of their knowledge to be expanded, and for his pride he has been cast out to a place of exile. Paimon himself is compelled by divine virtue, and appears multiform, but when he comes before the exorcist, he rides upon a camel, crowned with a crown most bright. His face dark, and he appears before the exorcist with pipes and cymbals, and with various sorts of attendants approaching with enormous clamor and roaring. The others are most mild, just as in the Art of Solomon, that is in Exioponticha. It is excellently testified. Yet Paimon's language shall not be able to be understood by the exorcist. If the exorcist is fearless, then Paimon will speak to him as lucidly and fittingly as can be, concerning every inquiry. Indeed, it is recounted that he speaks of all learning and philosophy, and of everything secret and hidden, and he knows the disposition of the cosmos, and how the world is arranged, and what holds it up, what is the very water, and what the abyss, and what the wind, and from what place it departs, if it will be windy, and all the rest. He speaks of the state. He performs consecrations of books, as well as of other things. He excellently gives dignities, and makes all opponents humble themselves, and satisfy the exorcist's will. And moreover, he gives very good familiars, and the understanding of all birds. Note, if the exorcist calls for Paimon to come before him, he shall beware to look nowhere except toward the north. In in which place is Paimon's habitation. But then Paimon shall come before the exorcist without fear, assuming every courtesy toward him, and the exorcist shall question him, and beg what he wish, and without doubt obtain it. The exorcist shall not beware, therefore, his creator on account of those who were promised by him that he would deliver them into oblivion. There are some who say this one was of the order of dominions, but as I see it, of the order of cherubim. And he has 40 legions, partly of the order of virtues and partly of the order of powers. It is to be noted, should it be remembered, that if Paimon should come alone as he is called, he shall demand as much frankincense or sacrifice as if they had all been conjured. Always with him come 2 great kings, namely Belial and Basam, and other kings great and powerful. 25 legions are always with him in his train, which spirits belonging to the others do not always proceed with him, unless by divine virtue they are compelled. So that was Paimon's description and the necromancy in the Medici Library. It is worth noting that his description of what he's all about is by far the longest spirit in that book. Perhaps most famously, King Paimon is listed in the Lesser Key of Solomon. In the Lesser Key of Solomon, Paimon is the 9th spirit, and it says as follows: The 9th spirit in this order is Paimon, a great king, and very obedient unto Lucifer. There goeth before him also an host of spirits, like men with trumpets and well-sounding cymbals. He hath a great voice, and roareth at his first coming, and his speech is such that the magician cannot well understand, unless he can compel him. The spirit can teach all arts and sciences, and other secret things, and all other sorts of musical instruments. Appeareth in the form of a man, sitting upon a dromedary, with a crown most glorious upon his head. He giveth dignity, and confirmeth the same. He bindeth or maketh any man subject unto the magician, if he so desire it. He can discover unto thee what the earth is, and what holdeth it up in the waters, and what mind is, and where it is, or any other thing thou mayest desire to know. He giveth good familiars, and such as can teach all arts. He is to be observed towards the west. He is of the order of dominations. He hath under him 200 legions of spirits, and part of them were of the order of angels, and the other part of potentates. Now if thou callest this spirit Paimon alone, thou must make him some offering, and there will tend him 2 kings called Labal and Abalim, and also other spirits who be of the order of potentates in his host, and 25 legions. And those spirits which may be subject unto them are not always with them, unless the magician do compel them. His description in the Lesser Key of Solomon has been refined, since it was most likely first seen in the Necromancy in the Medici Library. For instance, in Necromancy in the Medici Library, it says that Paimon should be observed towards the north, and later on has been retconned to be observed towards the west. I personally feel that it is correct to observe him in the west, because the west, in my interpretation, is the element of water, which could also be the mysteries and emotions. And Paimon controls both, and can give you insight into both as well. I've had a lot of experiences with Paimon. I'm going to go over some of them now. I've had this pretty wild dream a few years ago. I never actually summoned Paimon before, and if I did, it might have only been once, and I didn't do it correctly either. Now, one of my most fun experiences I've had with Paimon, and you probably won't like me telling people this, but don't really care. I'm on good terms with him, I feel. Is I learned how to torture spirits through him. So I had this really crazy dream where basically I remember it being just black. And then these weird stage lights kind of appeared out of nowhere, illuminating like a theater stage. And there was this man standing in the middle of the stage, and he started talking to me. And he basically was saying that the whole world is a stage and I control every aspect of it. And it was very odd because then, like, all of a sudden the camera view just completely panned out and the stage we're standing on was his seal. And then there's like marionette strings and like little puppets and stuff. Pretty bizarre. So I remember that was pretty prominent dream. That was a pretty prominent dream I've had with Paimon, and I woke up being like, God damn, that was pretty interesting. Okay. And I really do feel there's a good amount of truth to it. The whole world is a stage. Paimon is an incredibly arrogant spirit. He will not take you seriously. If you summon Paimon, even if you do everything correctly, chances are you gotta summon him again to do the same task. And if you summon him again, you best be torturing the bastard, because he's just taking you for a ride. I have learned that Paimon is the absolute most arrogant spirit I've ever worked with. He thinks he is so damn powerful and omniscient, and he's really fed off of the people's energy from Hereditary. And that's the reason why you really shouldn't be using real spirits when you make fictional films, or when you make any sorts of media. Like that show, apparently Hazbin Hotel, or Hell of a Boss, they have real spirits in there. And they really use the demon seals. Pretty bad idea. You're giving a bunch of these spirits energy for no reason. And you're creating, in a way, an egregore of them too. Moving on, I learned how to torture the arrogant bastard because he wasn't fulfilling my request in the allotted time he said he would do it. The way I tortured him was not the best way to do it, because I was still learning. And up until this point in my career as a magician, I never had a torture spirit. But I decided it's high time to do it because I'm tired of some of these spirits not doing the things I wanted. Anyways, I basically shoved his seal inside a cauldron filled with asafoetida. Asafoetida is the recommended herb/spice, forget what it was, it could be a spice, to put the boots to these spirits medium style.
Put the boots to him medium style.
This is what you're supposed to do when spirits don't do the things that you command them to do. When you take on the role of operator in Solomonic magic, you're assuming the mantle of God. Now these spirits have rebelled against God. You really think these spirits are going to listen to you unless you compel them with holy names and bind them. And then later on, show them who's really the master, and you torture the sumbitch. That's what you're supposed to do. What I did was I took his seal, shoved it in a little cauldron filled with asphatita, give the cauldron a good screaming or two. And what I did was I just, hung that cauldron over a candle. I don't have access to something that's like more firepower. And then I did the Conjuration of Flame, which I will not repeat here. That's how I tortured Paimon. It's not the way to really do it, but he was a good sport. He played along, and he did my request. It most likely was the action of me being like, you know what? Tired of this bullshit. I'm tired of this arrogance. You will learn that I am the ruler and master and god of you. And damn it, you will do as I command. I really feel as if that is what really made Paimon do a double take and be like, okay, this magician means business. I won't fully detail the whole process of how to torture a spirit in this video. It's not the time or the place to do it. But when I do make that video, rest assured you can be torturing these spirits with ease, the way that you're supposed to do it, and not take a rather large seal and jam it into a cauldron. That is pretty small. Paimon did the request that I asked for originally within the span of a week. The torturing of Paimon really deserves its own video, and as previously stated, this is not the time or the place to discuss such a matter. With that in mind, I will be ending this. If you want us to summon any spirit of the Goetia, check the description box below. We do offer evocations on our website, agarthasarcanum.com. Let us know if you want us to do this for you. Send us a email at magicians@agarthasarcanum.com if you want to have a consultation before you purchase. Until next time, practice safe spirit summoning, and I'll see you in the next one.